Everyone, and I am really happy and glad to join once again in our Python live coding. I am also grateful for the opportunity for giving me this chance to just be here with you and code together. We have tackled basic Python skills and we advanced them because we looked at deeper ways of data visualization. And I think today we are tackling deeper data analysis models, where we are going to be looking at classification. We are going to use inbuilt data. May you be patient with me, since if you have not watched the previous sessions, I would advise that you take your time, your moments, code with me step by step because there's no rush. As I said, we are using an IDE that is helping us even code before we move to the next step, and it's called Google Colab. So I am just going to be proceeding from where we left, and anyone who has been following, if you are happy, you can do a thumbs up on the videos. We are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, we are live on LinkedIn, and you can follow from any of our social media platforms. And if you're having your friends who would love to join Python classes, then I'm also glad that they join us. And today, as we are going to tackle classification, we're going to start with some libraries. For example, from sklearn data sets, import, load. This is the data, which is called the iris. I'm sure some of us have met iris data. It's more like it's having petals and things like that, width, height, and things like that. And so you can see we are already in the process, but the Google Colab has already given us the next step. So we're going to give the next sentence, which is more like a library. So we are having from sklearn model, then we go to selection, import train underscore tests, and then we're going to be deeper into this because we are going to have train data set and also the test data set. Another library is sklearn, which is dot linear model. And then we're going to import logistic regression. This is used especially for binary data or data with the only two choices. And then we're going to have another library, which is from sklearn dot metrics, and then we're going to import the classification since we are going to be handling it. So import classification report, classification report, and then accuracy. This is just a metric that is going to help us determine how our model giving us the results. And so let's run and see. And then after this, you're going to go to the next part, which you're going to be handling the data. So we are loading inbuilt iris data set. If you forgot how to get the data set which is inbuilt, we have our previous session which has already explained all those details, and I may not repeat. I would request you to have a look at it slowly by slowly. Do not rush, because this is how you're going also to load the iris data set, which is also inbuilt. As we progress, we are going also to be looking at data from CSV, data from text, so that we also learn different types of data that we can load in Python. And so we are having our X variable and we are having our Y variable. Now, iris.data and iris.target, we are going to be having them as the Y and X variables. Let's run and see what happens. And then we are going to move to the next part, which now is for the modeling. So we are going to be splitting so that we have the test and train data set into training and testing. And we are going to have a division of 80% and 20%. So what is happening? We're going to have 80% as the train, and we are going to have 20% as test. In case you want yourself also to be trained on this, I'm here, so do not worry. I can as well create my time and we learn together as well. So we are having X tests, we are having Y train, we are having Y test, we are having the train test split. So this is going to give us the command for train tests for X and Y. So it's splitting our data among the variable X and Y. And we have used the test size, which is 20% and is the same as 0.2. Then we can have a random, okay, we're just picking the numbers in random. So that's why it's like stratifying the data set actually. So we are having, not really stratifying, but picking values in random. So we are going to use 42. You can use 100. You can use whichever you're comfortable with. Actually, it's not like you're fixed to 42. And so the next step is to see what happens to this. And then we go to the next part, which is now initialize and train the classifier. And who is our classifier in this? All right, I'm going to call it model, and we are having the logistic regression since it's the one we are using. As I said, we are going to be coding together, so no rush. When you come here, be ready to code so that you learn with me step by step, and you're in a position to also master your skills. And then we are going to have, using the model fit, which is having the train. So you're going to have the X train, and we are going to have the Y train. And so we're going to look at this and see what happens. So the next step that you're making is, now we are predicting. So the predictions, let's see how they come on board. So we are having model dot predict, and then we are having our X texts. So let's see what we get from this. Okay, and then we go to the next part, which is now evaluating the model, like the metrics that you're using to evaluate the model. We are having the accuracy. So we're going to print accuracy. We're going to print accuracy. So our accuracy score will be given through Y tests and Y predicts. And then we're also going to print, okay, we are going to print the classification, report, and then this is given by the classification report, given by the Y tests and the Y predicts. So let's see what happens here. Okay, we are being informed there's a Y predict, which is not defined, and I made this word long. It was even Y pred, which means Y predict. And so we are having our precision, recall, F1 score, and support. These are just used to evaluate our model. And maybe I would work on another sample. Maybe you would also text and tell me which sample you'd love to listen from me in the next section. Because now I'll be listening also to my viewers' concerns. So let's have another example of inbuilt data again. And we see how this is going to happen. Now we are having another data set that you're going to call it okay. The first step is importing the required libraries. And our first required libraries, we are having from sklearn dot datasets import. Okay, we're going to have dataset from breast cancer. And so I'm sure those who are from industry of hospital, they might be feeling we're in the right place. They understand better than I do because it's not my area of interests. But I will learn with us today. No harm. We are going to learn together. So model selection. And then we're going to import the one which is going to be helping us to train our data sets. So we are having tests and we are having split. We are going to have another library which is sklearn .tree. We are going to have another model still in classification. So import decision tree classifier. And as I said, we are going to be coding until we have our Mr. and Miss School of Statisticians, which is going to be happening in September this year from 1st to 6th. We are welcoming each and everyone who is helping me to code together, and any other person who is interested with coding, or maybe you're having friends who love coding, come and we celebrate together during the event. The final day for spectators is on Friday, which will end early in the morning on Saturday. That is from Kitui County, Zombe ward. So we are having accuracy score. And then, so these are the libraries that we are going to utilize during this breast cancer data set. And the next step that you're going to be handling is, again, we load the inbuilt data. As I said, we're also going to be loading CSV data, Excel data, text data, so that we also analyze together. So I got you covered. Do not worry. We are going to be coding all along together. We have to learn Python together until we become expert in Python. In case you are looking into an interview, then come join me so that you master this coding together. And as I said, it's Python for data analysts. So we're going to have X variable, which is showing us data. And then we're going to have the Y variable, which is data.target. So let's have this and we see how the output comes. As we said, when we moved from this, we were going to split the data because we have been coding in the first example. Actually, they're just using the same concepts. So into training and test sets. So the first step is xtrain. So we're going to have a look at this. Maybe we would use a test size of around 0.3. Let's try and see how this other one comes. And then we're going to have the next step, which is we're going to be calling the classifiers. So ours is decision tree. Let's see how this happens. And then we're going to have the next one, which is Y. We're going to predict. So Y predict of the tests. So let's see what happens. And then we're going to have the final, which is now we are evaluating the model. So we're going to print. So let's see what happens. So we're going to have this as the final answer.